All right, guys, time for another 10-game check-in. We are now 60 games into the Mariners season, a little more than 100 games left, and things got a little bit better over the last 10 games. Team went 6 and 4, I believe. They won several series against teams that I wouldn't have necessarily expected them to be able to handle on the road. So the outlook is a little bit better than it was 10 games ago, but mostly due to inconsistency with, I guess if you had to single out one thing, the offense. They can't get on that roll, and that roll is what they need. They need to get on that kind of roll if they want to actually make something of this season other than just another passable season where the team gives you some stuff to be excited about but doesn't actually get to where they're going. So I don't know if that's going to fix itself in the next 100 games, but I do know that the team is at least keeping things alive. This was a very important 10-game stretch. I wish they could have gone like 8 and 2 or even 7 and 3. Both those things were easily obtainable. But at the same time, in some regards, them being able to go 6 and 4 was fortunate. A lot of games come down to one or two plays. A lot of these games come down to one or two little breaks. Sometimes even these little things that happen in the middle of a game that you don't think about that much later are having a huge impact on whether or not we win or lose these games. So at the end of the day, it was a 6 and 4 stand. And 6 and 4 is enough to keep the season intriguing, but it's not enough to actually set this team on the right course. So we've got another important 10-game stretch coming up. We're playing the Twins. They're good. We're playing the Angels, who are just getting past one of the worst streaks in franchise history. And once we get through these two series, I think we'll have a much better idea of what this team is. Now, obviously, if we lose a bunch of these games, then that'll probably pretty much put us in the ground. But in order for us to actually do something definitive in the positive direction, which would be actually winning a long string of games and getting back into this fight, getting back to 500, I think we're just going to need to see more consistency from the offense. That seemed to be the main thing that got in our way the last several games. We would have games where the pitching would show up. Yeah, of course they give up stuff here and there, particularly on the bullpen's end, but at the end of the day, you're looking up and you're going, 2 runs, 1 run, 0 runs in the case of yesterday, and that doesn't need to happen. So that's not to say everything going on with the offense is bad, not even close. In fact, I can tell you that I feel better about the offense now than I did at any point earlier this season. It's starting to even out a little bit is what I'm going to say about it. It's starting to actually spread out enough to where I don't look at the bottom of our lineup and go, well, nothing good is ever going to happen down here, right? Not to say that everything's great. That's certainly not the case. Frazier has fallen off a cliff. He went from slightly above average to well below average, maybe downright bad. Although he is getting the crap end of the luck stick right now in many ways. He's hitting balls hard and they're just not falling. Winker, I I don't know what to say about it anymore. He's doing some things right, but the production is not picking up. But we're starting to see positive things from the guys like Toro. And Toro still has a long way to go. Don't get it twisted. I mean, he's got an uphill battle to go, but he's at least starting to give us something to where when he comes up at the end of a close game, I'm not just wanting to turn the channel, right? We're Cal Riley. What a turnaround for Cal. Hitting for power. He's got a nice even swing now. He's got good vision at the plate. He's drawing walks. When he comes up to bat now, I'm not just trying to figure out where the remote is so I can go watch basketball or something. No, I want to see what Cal's going to do. He's got his Ops Plus up to 90. What a turnaround. He had the most hopeless bat of them all not that long ago. Even I don't want to exaggerate too much of it because it's a small sample size, but Torrens starting to come through a little bit. Dylan Moore continuing to hit at least against lefties. Yeah. Taylor Trammell has come up and actually looks like he can hit MLB pitching, which before this year we hadn't really seen. So there's starting to be some glimmers of hope spreading around this lineup, right? Because you've got France, Crawford's still playing well. Suarez has actually played probably a little better than most people would have thought. Julio's still Julio. And obviously we're waiting for Haniger and Lewis to get back. Lewis has had the Dwayne Eskridge concussion, basically, unfortunately, keeping him out for an extended period. But at the very least, the guys at the bottom of the lineup are not just hopeless. And that is a significant step up, and it's at least making things more interesting. Now, is it worth losing Adam Frazier's bat, where he's, like I said, gone from average to maybe bad, but at the very least well below average? When, by the way, Adam Frazier's not really giving you anything else. He doesn't have a lot of speed. He's not good in the field. So if he's not giving you a good bat, then what have you got other than a zero tool player, basically, right? So that's kind of a big deal. But at the very least, when I look at some of these guys, I go, I'm willing to give him a chance. If he's at the plate in a crucial juncture of a game, I don't just feel like wanting to strangle somebody because we don't have any pinch running options. So I guess that is a step in the right direction. At the end of the day, we're still waiting on some of these guys to get back. Lewis, hopefully he'll be back soon. I don't like the fact that we're not hearing a ton about his rehab. Makes me think he's still a ways away. Really could have used him in the Red Sox series. I mean, my God. Haniger, I expect back in maybe a month, so that's not going to be a short-term solution. So, realistically, we're going to need Trammell to continue to hit effectively until Haniger gets back, and that's a little bit of a tightrope walk. I'll give Trammell credit. He's played pretty well since he got called up, but I don't know if that's something we want to lean on. And then there's the Dylan Moore thing. We're going to have to lean on Dylan Moore. I don't know how tenable any of this stuff is, but at least I'm not looking at it with the same hopelessness that I did even a couple weeks ago. So that's the good news. The bad news is they're running out of blue chippers, like even Suarez. Suarez is good. Suarez has had a good season, hitting for power, hitting for better average than I think most people could have reasonably expected, but he's still fully liable to just have games where he strikes out 4 times. And I know anybody can do that, but Suarez can really do that. I mean, Suarez can really just have a game where his bat's 2 feet away from the ball every time he swings. So even he's not dependable from day to day. Crawford, he's hitting around 300 still. I'll give him his credit, but I'm still kind of waiting for the other shoe to fall and him to go back to being like a 250 hitter. Because at the end of the day, unfortunately, I feel like that's what he is. Now, if he keeps this up a little while longer, I'm going to have to reevaluate. He is doing a great job drawing walks. He's doing a great job getting on base in general. He's doing a great job keeping things going offensively. But I'm just not totally buying it. So that's the offense. I don't really have too much to say other than that. It's at least a little more fruitful in terms of like, I think you guys know what I'm saying here. It's not, you don't see guys like Cal or Trammell come up to the plate in a big situation and just want to chuck your remote at the TV. But by that same token, losing Frazier's production has kind of, I don't want to say canceled it out, but it's taken a lot of the punch out. So we're still at this state where I would call our offense, compared to the rest of the league, it's probably still well above average, but it's liable to no-show at any time, like it did yesterday against the Red Sox. The starting pitching, I'm going to be quick about this one because the starting pitching has been pretty great. Robbie Ray had the one rough start against Houston, but he still got the win. He had a great start yesterday, so hopefully that means he's headed in the right direction. But the starting pitching has been mostly money. Gilbert's continuing to kick butt. Marco continuing to hold his own. I know, I'm not saying that it's great. It's not. But Marco is doing probably a little bit better than I thought he would at this point. I kind of left him for dead after the first few games, but he's come together. Kirby's doing his thing. Kirby's pitching pretty well overall. No complaints there. Flexen, hard luck kid this year. It is what it is, but he's still pitching well for a number 5 guy. I don't have a ton to say about this starting rotation. They're good. They're solid. I feel like they are ready to take this team to the next level, but the offense needs to start showing up. And obviously, the Robbie Ray thing is going to continue to be monitored. I was done with him after that Houston game when every time the Mariners would find a way to take the lead, the offense would find a way to grind through an inning, he would just give it right back. But he settled down, finished that game strong, had a great game yesterday, so we'll see where it goes from here. It can't get much worse, but there is the possibility that it continues to get better. And this would be a great rotation if Robbie Ray can start pitching at a high level. So I'm not saying it's solid, right? Like Kirby is young, he's inexperienced, he could blow up at any time. And it's not like he's been great so far, he's been good. Marco, with his lack of velocity, he's liable to just go at any time too. But all things considered, the rotation is good enough for this team to win more than they lose. And then you have the bullpen, which, I mean, I hate the bullpen, but they find a way to, for the most part, keep this team in games. They really do. As hard as I've been on the bullpen, as much as every single time we send in a bullpen pitcher at the end of a game now, I'm just waiting for the bad stuff to happen. It's hard to put too much on them right now. It really is. Sewald got knocked around the last 2 games. He gave up a couple home runs, but I mean, yesterday, what, am I going to get blame Paul Sewald for us not scoring any runs in 9 innings? Like, that seems counterintuitive to me. And even the home run he gave up was, I mean, I don't know how Devers did that with that pitch, but, well, he's special, so there you go. Castillo's been great. Castillo has found some gear that I didn't know he had, where he's just been a lights-out bullpen arm for the last several outings. Murphy's continued to be awesome, and I'd love to see him in high-leverage situations continue to come through. And now we got Swanson back, which is clutch, massive, important, very, very, very important that he comes back and continues to pitch effectively. So now that he's back, I'm really hoping he brings the room together, because even though we've been kind of skating through raindrops here in terms of having them actually cost us games, there's no doubt that Munoz and Festa, and I'll throw Romo in there, like we can't really lean on these guys, right? Every time Romo goes into the game, I'm waiting for the cement mixer slider, just right over the plate, easy home run. Seems like he's good for a couple every inning now. Elias, I don't know about Elias. I think it was a good idea to call him up. I think it's a good idea to lean on him when you can't go to Sewald or Castillo. But yeah, he's given up a couple of cheap ones already, so I don't know if he can be a guy. Steckenrider's obviously out of the picture, which he had nothing. He had nothing going on. But after all the consternation I've had about this bullpen, I don't think it's in a terrible spot right now. I know Sewald's given up a couple home runs in his last 2 outings, and you can blame him for yesterday if you want to, but realistically, he's still having a pretty good season out of the pen, still pitching well, and at the end of the day, he still needs to be the guy that we trust. Castillo, if he can keep this up, great. I still don't trust him, but he's earned some leash right now. Murphy, hey, You put these guys together with Swanson, and then hopefully eventually we get Ken Giles back and he's still effective. You could see it kind of come together without a trade. You need some things to go your way, but I don't know if we need to make that panic trade now. That's really all I can say right now. I wanted this team to declare themselves a little more emphatically by this point, but 6-4 is just like it's pretty good, but it's not really enough to declare anything one way or the other. I think we got to see more. I can see where this team can be good, but unfortunately, I can also see where they're never going to be consistent enough to string off a bunch of wins. They're going to win 3 or 4 games in a row at some point, maybe, and then the offense no shows against a nobody pitcher and they lose 3-1. Or Sewald comes in to save a game and gives up a home run out of nowhere to blow it. There's just some consistency issues, and I feel like that's the thing that's going to prevent us from going on some kind of season-saving 8-game or 9-game win streak. And until I see those things get better, until I see a more robust lineup, until I see more spots in the lineup get filled by guys I actually have faith in, rather than just having mild interest in, I'm not going to believe anything's necessarily going to improve by enough for us to actually get to the playoffs. The Angels' losing streak has helped a lot, but we're still a decent distance away from any kind of a playoff spot. I know it's just 4 games, but that 4 games can be a pretty significant thing to overcome. So that's really all I have to say about the team right now. I'm generally encouraged by the last 10 games. The offense is at least giving me reason to believe, even though they're not playing great, or at least not consistently. The starting rotation, they might be locking in. I mean, they've been pretty good pretty much the whole season, and now they're really coming together. And the bullpen's improving. So all I can say is that we need to get some of these guys back. We need to get Kyle Lewis back ASAP. We need to get Ken Giles back, Haniger, and hope they can actually be part of something good, because I don't think we can go that much longer leaning on guys like Taylor Trammell and Dylan Moore to play above average baseball, which they are. Dylan Moore has even been throwing people out at the plate from the outfield. I didn't know he had the arm for it. I really didn't. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Mariners. Big series starts tonight. That Angel series, that 5-game series later this week is pretty much going to settle the whole thing, I think. I think we'll know everything we need to know by the end of that series. Hopefully it's emphatic. And, yeah. See you guys later. Go Mariners. Probably catch me on Twitch later tonight.